What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video. Here we are with what is something Europe has changed in your mind as an American. I'm very intrigued to go ahead and hop into this. I've seen a couple of these videos, but this one I have not. So I want to see what new stuff people got for me. Before we jump in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, give the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media and Patreon, all up top. You don't subscribe to any of it, put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Human, I talk back. And I love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team. If you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or in the description section. There's a Google form link. What we got?
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
I don't know, everything. I've been living here since 2015, and I was brought up in a relatively conservative household, and I was taught that any government that puts a bunch of regulations in place or even leans slightly towards socialism is just evil. Well, that's all bullshit. Regulations help keep people from dying, like controlling who the fuck can have a gun, what kind of chemicals they can put in your fucking food. What the original poster was saying about the quality of chicken, fish, and, meat here versus, I know he was talking specifically about Finland, but this is a Europe thing versus an America thing. I don't know what they're feeding them fuckers, but it ain't right. And I can honestly say that I personally feel healthier now than I did when I moved here. And I sure as fuck feel safer.
Americans who've been to...
That's dope. He said, I don't know what they feed them ever. I don't know what they putting in that chicken food, but it ain't right. Them chickens are not right that they serving over there, over here, without all the chemicals and all that. I feel a lot healthier and I feel a lot safer. And yes, I believe you should have certain regulations in place. Like you said, it keeps people safer. And so I definitely believe that. And also social democracy. My bad. Europe is more of a social democracy, not socialism, but social democracy. I believe that's how it's pronounced, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Than I did when I moved here, and I sure as fuck feel safer.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
Living in Europe for the last couple of years has taught me more than anything that the propaganda surrounding the United States being the best country on earth does one of two things. It either makes you complacent in being taken advantage of by the oligarchs, or it villainizes you for speaking out against your exploitation. But walking around saying you're the best country on earth does nothing to improve the country itself. But saying that you're the best country on earth really helps keep those who are in power, and those voices who are suppressed continue to be suppressed.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
I could write a novel about my experiences, but I'm going to talk about one specifically. I went to Finland back in December and decided to take the bus across town. I was horrified when I saw these very, very small children get on the bus completely by themselves. They were probably like 7 and 5 years old. My first thought was they're lost, they lost their parents, they're in danger, they need help, but they were totally fine. They were carrying sleds, they were laughing, they were joking around, and then they got off the bus. And it's because Finland is one of the safest countries in the world. Parents there are not worried about their children getting kidnapped or anything bad happening to them, really, because it's very rare. I know a parent in the state of New York who got charged with child abuse for letting their 10-year-old kid ride the New York City subway by themselves. Meanwhile, me as a black woman, if I decide to have a child, obviously they're going to be black. There's going to come a day where I have to explain to them that it's not okay for them to sit outside and play with their toys because they could get shot by the police. That's the US for you.
Americans who've been to or traveled...
I feel that. I feel where she's coming from because situations like that have happened, and it's very sad and tragic that situations like that are even possible of happening. Like, you got these kids in Finland that are able to ride the bus alone, that are able to. They don't have to have their parents around 24/7. They're able to go outside, play with their friends without supervision, and their parents don't have to worry about them being kidnapped. Don't have to worry about them being in danger, and that's a real concern here. It's like parents, you just here, you don't really let your kids out of your sight. Like, if they're going to get on the bus, you walk them to the bus stop, wait till the bus gets there, then they go on the bus, go back to the bus stop when it's time for them to get dropped off, wait for them to get off the bus. And the bus won't drop them off unless the parent's there. And so it's completely different situation here. And yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's like
toys because they could get shot by the police. That's the US for you.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
Well, I won't go bankrupt if I get sick in Europe, and I won't be poisoned by that country's food supply. I won't be subjected to laws and policies that harm marginalized groups. I won't live under a rapidly deteriorating political environment that's slowly stripping away your personal freedoms and rights. I won't be force-fed somebody else's religious beliefs when I may think something differently. I can actually walk outside and breathe clean air. I can see people having access to free education, so they're a smarter society, a healthier society. And finally, I can feel like I'm part of something bigger, like being in a community where people actually give a shit about one another.
Americans who've been to or traveled to
I
Europe.
feel that. I feel it. Go off then. Go off then. But yeah, I think that's just her. Like, well, like I don't have to worry about all of these things I would have to worry about in America. That's people just kind of being fed up, like with what's going on. Like, it's not that they hate America. It's just that there's a better, safer, healthier life for them elsewhere, so they don't want to stay here. And they're like, there's so many problems, yet we refuse to acknowledge them. We choose to ignore them, continue to think we're the greatest without looking at certain problems and fixing those situations. And like they said earlier, and we continue to think like that, people in power are going to stay in the power, and the oppressed are going to stay oppressed, and just how it
Shit
is.
about one another.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
They're so scared of guns, dude. Like, they are so freaking scared that every American has a gun. But they don't even question the fact that people walk around their country throwing acid in people's faces. Like, it's fucking normal.
They're throwing acid.
And they have, like, fucking full-blown tits on the news. That was weird.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe.
Where was that at? I gotta Google some of this stuff, because some of this, I guess, in different parts of America, they throwing acid in people's face. God dang! And full blown tits on the news, just out there. What news channel is
Tits
that?
on the news. That was weird.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
I've spent about 3.5 years in Europe, mostly living in Slovenia, but also traveling extensively east and west. And I also lived in Italy for about 4 months. Europe has changed me in every way, but I'd say the most profound and fundamental is the prioritization of values. Europeans prioritize friends, family, and community. Americans prioritize careers and success. That's very evident when you go back and forth just by the way people spend their time and have conversations. In Slovenia, I was meeting my friends every day in the center at 4 p.m. to have coffee and shoot the shit. Americans are much more focused on their careers, and it's harder to do that. We're also much more spread out. But I believe that I was happier there, people were happier there, and that makes me think that they are more in tune with the way we should be living.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe...
That's so dope. I love their priorities. I love families, friends, and relationships. Enjoying yourself. And you only get one life. Enjoy your life. We do prioritize success. We do prioritize our careers. We prioritize money, I feel like, over a lot of things. And while that stuff is important, you need that stuff. I feel like we don't make enough time to enjoy actual life. We don't make enough time to live. And that's the point of life. But keep it real.
We are more in tune with the way we should be living.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
So I went to Europe in 2018 when I graduated college, and I went myself on a tour group. I was there for about a month, but because I knew I was going to be traveling so much, I had only packed a carry-on. And I was so excited. By the time I got to Europe, I realized I didn't pack my hairbrush. And at the time, my hair was much longer, and I was wearing a wash and go for this trip. So anyway, while I was traveling, I met friends, and I told them, hey, I need to find, a hairbrush. They were like, oh, we'll just go to the supermarket. And I was like, no, I need a different brush. It's not the same. I know it when I find it. When I tell you I spent the entire month searching for a hairbrush for black hair, my hair looked crazy. Nobody knew because it made me realize that even though I complain about America all the time, I still have access to hair products that are made for me. Wear braids next time.
Americans who've been to or
that.
traveled to
I feel
Europe,
that.
what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
Very simple. Public transport. You can't tell me in the majority of U.S. cities that people openly take public transport and are confident, feel safe, feel like it can get them anywhere. Public transport, 100%. Like, I don't know what I would do without public transport in the UK. Even if I got a car, the idea that you can jump on a train to get from one side to the next side of the city, the idea that even from a standpoint of like trains and transportation in general is just much better in European countries. Like, if you disagree, bit.
Americans who've been
No, I completely agree with her. I feel like America is built for cars. America's not built for public transportation. I feel like America doesn't really focus on public transportation. Don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess depending on what you want. But America is mainly built for cars. You almost need a car to make it here. And so, yeah, I definitely do agree with her. Europe has a lot better public transportation.
Like, if you disagree, bit.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
So I've had the luxury of being in Sweden for about like 4 months now. And the first thing I noticed when I got here was the quality of the food. The quality of the food is so much better than what it is back home in the U.S. Even the fucking McDonald's, like, you can tell the food is real, like, it's real chicken, it's real beef, it's real fucking food. And compared to back home, nah. Like, we have a lot more options of like fast food and all that type shit back home, but the quality of the food is just so much better here. It's fresh, it's real, and back home, hell no. Like, I would never eat Burger King back home, but here in Sweden, it just tastes so fucking good for some reason. And also the safeness. Like, I have not felt unsafe not once while I've been here in Gothenburg. So, yeah.
Americans who've been to
I think you hear so many Americans that talk about that the quality of food is just a lot better. You see so many. I've seen so many videos where the same they say the same thing, and so I mean, that many people are saying that you gotta
once while I've been here in Gothenburg, so
take it as a fact.
Yeah.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
Hey, I was born and raised in America. I came to the UK when I was 21. I broke my ankle not long after I got here and had a full operation, full physiotherapy for months, was looked after by doctors for months. Do you know how much it cost me? Nothing. It cost me nothing. I had my daughter here. I had full prenatal care. I tried to have a home birth, and I had a few teams of midwives and a doctor in attendance at my home. It turned into an emergency. I was taken to hospital and ended up having her in the hospital. And you know how much it cost me? Nothing. Yes, I do pay national insurance, but it's like, I don't know, £10 a month or something. Wow. I don't know, maybe it's more. I'm not sure what I pay, but it's not very much. And my healthcare is free.
Americans who...
That's absolutely incredible. That's absolutely incredible. We need that. We desperately need that. I don't know what else.
It's more. I'm not sure what I pay, but it's not very much. And my healthcare is free.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
Okay, I could do 100 of these, but I'm going to start with politics. See, in America, what we think we have is this: a nice equal system where the extreme left and the extreme right are basically the same distance apart. But in reality, if you're going to be on the extreme right, which you basically have to be if you're going to be in the Republican Party, basically anybody to the left of you looks like a communist by comparison. Now, I would say this is the European model. Now, these people over here, your Trumps, your QAnons, to them, this person who's to the right of even the most staunch anti-government European probably looks like a socialist by comparison. And the problem that brings for somebody who's actually on the left is that there's no way to compromise with somebody who's this far away from you on the spectrum without some of your beliefs or actions falling somewhere in the far right wing. What that means in a practical sense is when these people say it's okay for cops to kill black people in the street, is how we end up with a president whose extreme left view is to shoot them in the leg and not the heart.
Show me an item you bought that you were greatly disappointed in due to poor...
crazy. I like the way he explained that, though. I absolutely like the way he explained it. I absolutely agree with it. That's all we got for this one, guys. If you guys got a favorite video you want to see me react to, you can subscribe to Patreon or in the description section or your Google form link. Hit the link, fill out your suggestions, send it to me. Want me to get to yours faster, fill out premium. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You can subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy D Neal. Out.